New safety measures from the TSA are in effect this morning at the nation's airports. The recommendations come after a review of security after last November's shooting at Los Angeles International Airport. One TSA officer died and 3 other people were hurt. Jeff Pegues is at Reagan National Airport outside Washington with what the changes mean for millions of flyers. Jeff, good morning.
Good morning. This is the memo that the TSA sent to airports across the country when their review became public. It calls for immediate action on recommendations that include increasing police presence at security checkpoints.
Expect a more visible police presence at airport security checkpoints today. The TSA is moving forward with the report's 14 recommendations. Among them, calls for an increased police presence during peak travel times at checkpoints and ticket counters.
Some officers with their guns drawn.
Last November's shooting at Los Angeles International Airport exposed large gaps in security. Not only were TSA screeners at risk, but passengers were too. Some panic alarms and emergency phones inside the terminal were not working properly, and law enforcement response was disorganized, according to an 80-page independent review released last week.
Ma'am, Liquid Jibs and aerosol.
The TSA relies on local law enforcement to police security checkpoints, but their review of nearly 450 airports found that about 1 out of every 4 nationally do not have law enforcement officers on site. The union representing TSA workers believes an increase in the numbers won't enhance security enough.
Does it address the gaps in security as you see them?
This idea that a little more local law enforcement at peak times in the airport is all they really need in terms of law enforcement, we think falls short.
The union wants the TSA to have its own armed security units. But during a congressional hearing on Tuesday, the agency's administrator repeated his opposition to the idea.
So I looked at that and have determined that that is not the best response.
The 26-page report also recommends improved communication systems and mandatory active shooter training for workers.
They need to know what to do. The idea that they should be engaging a shooter unless they are an armed law enforcement officer, no. The idea is just frankly get out of the kill zone.
The idea is also to speed up response times should there be an incident. There's going to be a congressional hearing on this issue in LA tomorrow, but the TSA believes they do not need congressional approval to move forward on these recommendations. Charlie, Clarissa, Gail.
Jeff, thanks.